everybody. It's Wayne again from One-on-One Animation, and I am going to have a three-part series, and this is going to be about straight ahead animation, pose to pose animation, and the way you can combine them. So the first one I'm going to do is do it straight ahead. And what that means is just doing the drawings consecutively, one after the other. And you're just flowing along with the action and feeling it out as you're animating. Now, I'll tell you the pros and cons. Straight ahead animation, some people prefer that because they feel like it's more organic and more natural, and you can feel the movement, and it just works out better. You get the follow through, overlap, drag, you can get all that in there. The cons of it is that you don't have as much control over it. Pose to pose, you have more control. So in pose, when I do that demonstration and make that video for you guys, you'll see what I mean. But with the straight ahead, it's just I'm just going to do a quick demonstration for you real fast here, and I'll just show you the basic process of doing it, and then I'll explain at the very end. You'll probably see where I have these little problems with it here and there. So let's get started here. So here's our first drawing, and you should always do your thumbnails before you start into your scene. I really advise you to do that. So I'm just going to get started here. And what I'm going to have this guy do is just going to take his cap off. It's a real simple little scene. So I'm going to start off straight ahead. And here's my first drawing. Because if you're doing it on paper, it's a good idea to always number your drawings, just in case you got a whole stack of drawings and they fall, and you'll know numerically how to put them back in order. But digitally, it's not really that important. So here's our first drawing, and I'm just going to start working straight ahead here. Here we go. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to just have them come up a little bit. I'm thinking about it, anticipation, just slight one, but flipping. All the time you're flipping. Doesn't matter what method you're using, flip your drawings, flip your drawings, flip your drawings. And I'll put a little stretch right here, and then eye lines coming down, which means the ears coming down. I'm just feeling it out. And he's coming up, and I'll have him start to close his eyes right here. I'm going to do this rough. I'm not going to do this all clean, everything. But you'll get the idea. I'm just going to animate the shapes. Okay, so we can feel the movement. It's coming up. Do this as quick as I can. And I could even right there, I'll put a little squash maybe in here. Okay. Up. Chin, everything comes up. Eyes are starting to fold. Get a little stretch in there. I'm just feeling this. I'm feeling, okay, I'm going to bring his arm back a little bit with the anticipation. This might come up. The only way I know is by flipping it more. Same thing on the other side. Okay, I'm starting to get that movement. I'm feeling it as he's going through it. Now I'm just going to continue on. I'm going to have him come up there, maybe just a little bit of movement here. I'm going to have him close his eyes. Stretching there. Maybe I'll have this is slowing in a lot there. I'm going to have arms. I'm just feeling this. I'm going to just have the arms start to move up. This arm I'll keep here. Now I'm going to have them start to come forward. Notice how I keep flipping the drawings, because that's, you need to do that to get the feel. Now I'm going to feel the drag on that cap a little bit there, right up in here. torso. Now I'm going to start to bring this arm forward. I'm really going to do this rough. I don't want to get too into it. Maybe on this one, I'm going to start to shape coming up. There's the arm. Just start to change. Nope, I'm going to change that. Dragging the hand there. Good enough. Okay. Here I'm just feeling and have that arm start to turn in space. He's still coming up. Go to the next one. Next one. No matter what, straight ahead, post, you always follow your arcs. Unlike I did there. And you can note how I'm just feeling these shapes and the movement still. Staying in the arc. Everything I've talked about before, you know, following arcs. Turning that axis of the head way down where he's grabbing the front of the cap. This drag of the cap will start to settle down as it's coming around. So I'll just scroll through, feel the action. Next one. Have them grab the hat. Starts to pull the hat. Counteraction, head's going back that way. Just for fun of it, I'll put a little stretch in the cap. And this is part of the problem when you're going straight ahead. Especially when you do it on paper, because you can always flip back to your original one, but this is what happened. And I'm doing this as a demonstration, sort of to explain the cons of it, because what's going to happen here is, because I am working consecutively with the drawings, I'm just feeling it out as I'm doing all this, and then what happens is I have the head still tilting down. I'm just feeling it. I'll keep that axis of the head down like so. Here's his nose, the lower face, and here he's getting the hat. Now the hat's coming off. I'm feeling that arc. It's going to be coming off pretty much, not a little bit of an arc there. And as far as drag, stretch and squash and drag, that's totally up to you. I'm just gonna keep it in there. And there he's got fingers on the front of it. As he pulls it down. And we'll say he's got some hairs getting pulled down with it. Here. And bring shoulders down a little more. That's what happens. You get into it and you're feeling it, and it's feeling, correct as far as movement goes, and I'm following the basic principles. But to be honest with you, I just honestly do not feel like I have much control here. And then I'm going to come back. I'd be looking at my thumbnails. And this is where I'll have the axis of the head change. But the thing is that even with my thumbnails, I'm still I don't feel like I have that good of control of the scene doing it this way. Will it animate? Yes, it will. Okay, I'm thinking spontaneously. What I'm going to do is have this hand right there be the one that takes over the hat, while this one's going to let it go. So I'm going to have it pull back around this area. So I'm going to bring that hand there. Which will mean that the cap is going to follow around this way. Excuse the hands, please. Because it's pulling the sleeve, I have a little drag on it. this hand with the fingers letting go. I'm just going to draw in the big shapes. Head going back, a little more tilt. And just to change it up, as this hat's coming down in that direction, I'm going to have this hand start to come up, because I'm just making it up as I go forward. And this is the part that a lot of people like about straight ahead, because you can come up with more spontaneous type of actions that you know, that they claim that you wouldn't think about. But in my opinion, if you've done your thumbnails, you really wouldn't have any question, because the thumbnails are going to tell you everything. So let me just continue on here. I'm going to keep this S line coming up. Make that a C line. Alright, there. I'm going to have them basically just hold right in here, right here. I'll do something spontaneous. And I don't know why, but he's just, let's pretend he's just happy. He just got off work, just got home, and he's just happy to be home. That's why he's taking off his hat. And I'm just going to have his hair just kind of cushion in this tuft of hair right there. Bring this shape down. Belly back out. You're going to follow this arc in all of animation. Don't change your arcs too quick unless it's a stagger. I'm just going to continue up with his right hand, but I'm going to start to turn it in space. I did that completely backwards. Here's the rhythm of the fingers like I've shown before. Foreshortening. There. Turning space, we've got the foreshortening of the hand. Here's the hat. And we're almost done. Keep everything like this, except I'm going to just have him open his mouth. So what that means, just remember, it's animation note here. What that means is this part of the face. Always remember, that's the part of the face in most feature type animation. You keep that. That's your stretch and squash. The bottom half of the face. Trace back, trace back. just trace back the eyes. Just have, let's go into that S line, S line, C line, up there. And let me see. And I'm going to keep that hand, but I'm going to keep it relatively in the same place, but I'm turning it in space. With the fingers, bring the index. So this one there. Okay, and I think I'm going to just stop on this because I just want to explain to you. It's not in between. I would be doing tweaks and little changes here and there, but we're just going to say this is the last pose and the hat is down there, and got some kind of some strokes in there, back of the throat. Okay, we'll say, and I remember he had some buttons. All right, so that's it. And what there would be is there would be in-betweens and a timing test, but this is about doing straight ahead animation. And I'm sure there's going to be a problem here, and I'm going to show you what I mean. I'm going to turn that off. If I go here, come on, Wayne. Hold on. Come on, TV Paint. All right. There's that. There's that. Okay. Now, first of all, that's our starting pose. Look at the design of the character. He's more like this. And even if you have a model sheet, when you're animating straight ahead, a lot of times you're so into the moment of animating it and getting the movements and the arcs and everything that you will sometimes end up with a different looking character. And then, now I'm not saying you can't go back in and put it on model, but it takes more time. And plus, you don't have real strong poses in there. You had your thumbnails. For me, thumbnails are just the idea. Thumbnails are not my key, well, they're my key poses of the idea. But when I go to draw, when I start animating large, I will look at my thumbnails, but I will work real hard on those key poses. In straight ahead animation, you really don't get to do that. So when we scroll through this, we can see, the idea of it's working, but it's really I'd have to go back in and tie this down to put it on model, and the volumes are the other thing. This one didn't get too bad out of control, but sometimes it can get really out of control if you got a real long scene. And let's say if you had a character that was running in perspective, and you had, let's say this was the layout, and they're running in perspective from, let's say, here, and you got them right there, and you have them running up, and they're supposed to be about this big as they leave the screen left, exit the scene. And if you do that straight ahead, sometimes you'll be animating, and then when the character is supposed to be on the ground, because here's our grid for the ground, sometimes, you know, the foot won't look like it's planted really solid. If you do it a lot, you'll be able to, because I do know animators that do animate straight ahead and they're able to pull it off. If you do it a lot, you'll be able to overcome it, and you'll be aware of that as you move forward. But I'm going to take this, and let me just show you a quick, let's just make it, I'm just going to do a quick timing test here. And timing is something separate. I'm not talking about timing in this. And we'll take a quick look at this. Okay, so I mean, it's basically moving. There'd be more in-betweens, but to be really honest with you, it's pretty mundane. I don't like the arcs that much. I repeated the arc. That's another thing that will happen. And trust me, I mean, I've been at it so many years, I would have changed. But when you're first beginning, you don't ever want to repeat your arcs unless it's a robot. Does this work? It does work. Can it work a lot better? Yes. And I will explain that to you in my next tutorial, which is going to be pose to pose. But I'm going to use the same character and do the same movement of him taking the hat off. I hope this helps. Bye-bye.